right, if you're in a place where it's safe to do so, go ahead and close your eyes and keep your spine nice and straight. Relax your body and your mind. Try to take everything off your lap. If you're sitting in a chair, uncross your arms and legs for just a moment. Letting go of all cares and worries, trying to let all tension go. We picture ourselves on the top of a beautiful mountain in the center of a circular grove of trees. And inside the center of this circle, a beautiful bonfire blazes forth, lighting us and the grove up with a sacred golden light. And we allow this light to permeate every part of our body, mind, and soul. We recognize that this is the light of perfect love and perfect trust, and it has all power to heal and to correct. And it lifts us up so that we can allow the divine design of our lives to manifest with ease. We are very grateful for the time that we spend together, and we are very grateful for the presence of our Divine Father and Mother. And together we say, blessed be. So, what I'd like to talk about today is the concept of divine presence. And we've talked about this before, but this is a very important thing, especially right now with so much going on in the world. It sometimes seems like there's nothing that we can do. You know, it seems like we are stymied, like we have there's no options for us. You know, we feel very, impotent. And that's absolutely the opposite of the truth. The only time that we are impotent to effect change is when we are caught up in the drama, when we are caught up in the illusion, when we don't take a moment to recognize that there's another way, that there's another mind, that there's another perspective, that there's another truth. There's the real truth. And this is what we call the goddess, many of us in the craft, but you can call it anything you want. You can call it the Holy Spirit, you can call it Great Spirit, you can call it by the name of any deity if you want. It's all fine, as long as you understand that there's only one. Ultimately, there's only one. Even though there's a rainbow of colors, that rainbow of colors is a momentary separation of colors from a singular light. So, what we want to be able to do in order to reacquaint ourselves with our power to effect change is find an experience of our center. Find an experience of our spiritual center every day. And we do this by finding the presence of a higher power and experiencing that presence. Now, today I'm going to talk about the way that higher power manifests itself as infinite love, as divine love, as perpetual love, perfect love. And one of the reasons why we have so many problems in this world is because we don't think we are loved. We think we are all by ourselves. We have this illusion of separateness and that we are all by ourselves and the world is big and scary and we have to protect ourselves from it. So what we want to do is take a moment out several times during the day and connect to that creative part of the universe, which is the source of all life, that creates us in the moment. And we want to feel the reality of that presence. And the reality of that presence is infinite love. And the love that presence has for you is infinite. It's also unconditional. So whether or not you feel like you have messed up or fallen short or have character flaws, that you have problems, that you've made bad choices, that you maybe feel like you've sinned or that you've done something wrong or that you are somehow defective or somehow less than or unimportant or small or insignificant or vulnerable or any of those things. In fact, you are loved infinitely, regardless of the story of your life. Anything that you think you've done is not powerful enough to thwart the love that Spirit has for you in this moment right now. But just knowing that Spirit loves you is not enough. We need to experience the love that Spirit has for us. We need to feel loved. Now, feeling loved by a human being is a wonderful thing, isn't it? Doesn't it feel wonderful when somebody loves us? Well, imagine how perfect love feels. It feels great when you know your mom loves you no matter what, maybe. I mean, unless you have a mom who's got some real distinct issues. But I'm sure that everybody has somebody in their life that they felt has loved them. And that's a very imperfect form of love in this world. We human beings in this world can't help but experience things from a limited perspective. But even so, even with that limited perspective, we feel like things are pretty good when we're loved. Well, imagine what that love feels like when it's infinite. Imagine what that feels like when it's perfect. Imagine what that love feels like when it's total, when it's complete. Imagine what it feels like to know that you don't have to do anything to earn that love. You don't have to do anything to keep that love. You don't have to prove yourself to this power in order to be lovable. And why is that? Because you were created out of love. And the way that you were created remains absolutely perfect, just the way you are right now. Absolutely perfect. You remain as Spirit created you. You remain that way. There's nothing about you that is imperfect from Spirit's point of view. Now, in this world is a world of imperfection. That's the whole idea of this world. Is this world is a superimposition over the real world, which Spirit created for us. This world is a world of the mind's projection, and so this world that we've created here exists to try to prove to us how bad we are, how imperfect we are, how junky we are, how not good enough we are. So from this world's perspective, there is no such thing as a perfect you. There's all kinds of evidence to support the fact that you're not perfect. And most of those have to do with things that have to do with your body. Your body's not perfect. Your body's done things maybe that are imperfect. You've used your body imperfectly. You've used your body maybe to attack people. Maybe you've used your voice to attack people, or your hands to attack people. Maybe you've used your body to create experiences in your life that you can then use as evidence to support the fact that you're not perfect, that God did not create you perfect. But from Spirit's point of view, you're not a body. From Spirit's point of view, you're not a body. You're so much bigger than a body. You're a body because that's what you need to exist in this three-dimensional world. So there's nothing wrong with having a body. It's not that your body's bad, but that's not the totality of who you are, because your body's finite. Your body is limited. Your body's imperfect. Your body's dying. The one thing that's true for everybody on this planet, no matter what your gender is, your political party, your what kind of cereal you like, it doesn't matter. The one thing that brings us all together, that we have oneness, is everybody used to be younger. Every single person that is alive right now used to be younger. And everybody's going to get older. And everybody's body is getting older. And eventually everybody's body's going to die. So from our point of view here on this planet, it's just a race all the time to get as much living in before our body dies. And in doing that, sometimes we fight with each other, sometimes we scheme against each other, sometimes we do all kinds of horrible things to try to prove to ourselves how bad we are. But we got to get it all in before the body dies, because then we don't know what's going to happen to us. So let's do it before the body dies. But spirit's not in any rush. And spirit doesn't see you as a body. Spirit doesn't care about your storyline. Spirit doesn't care that your body was born, that your body is growing older, and that eventually your body will die. Spirit doesn't care if you used to have tons of bodies before, and spirit doesn't care if you will have tons of bodies after. Your body does not make a difference to how lovable you are, because spirit did not create you as a body. Spirit created you as a spirit. And your spirit is eternal, and your spirit is indestructible. Now, the reason why this is so important from a magical point of view is that if you can spend time every day feeling that love of spirit, then what you're doing is you are directing your mind in a way that's productive. Because we know that in this world, where our mind is focused is where we tend to create experiences for ourselves. And if your world is always reflecting the love that spirit has for you, your experience in this body, in this three-dimensional world, is going to be very different from somebody who's always afraid that they're going to get punished for something, or that they're always going to be alone, or that they're going to be left behind out in the cold, or that nobody loves them, or they have to fight for every little bit of love that they have. And all kinds of neurotic ideas about the form that love can take. Love might take the form of money for some people, or food, or relationships, or sex, or all kinds of things, even really horrible things like harming people, or political insurrections, or cults. There's all kinds of substitutes for love that the ego mind can come up with in this world. And what we have to understand is the reason why we are going for those things is not because we are bad, but it's because the ego mind wants to prove that we're bad by actually convincing us that those things are an actual substitute for the love that we crave from spirit. That those are viable alternatives to the love that we crave from spirit. And so it's not that we're bad people that need to be punished. It's that we've allowed ourselves to have very mistaken points of view as to what love means and the forms that it needs to take for us. So instead, what we can do, rather than coming up with ideas on our own about what love is and what we want and what we think is going to make us happy, because we don't. If we all knew what was going to make us happy, our world would be extremely different. But this world that we have, where it's very violent and very scary and very dark and, filled with awful things, those things are coming from a desire for love. We don't recognize that everybody's ego minds have convinced them that these things are a viable alternative to the love we crave. So every time somebody is doing things that are just seems unconscionable, we have to recognize that they are trying to find the love that they crave. And they don't know any other way to get their needs met. And that's the same for you. So if you bypass all of that every single day and you go right straight to feeling that divine presence that's already there, has absolutely never been missing, has never left you, has always been there for you, and start to purposefully allow ourselves to feel the love that already exists for us. And that love is total. That love comes with no conditions. That love is infinite. There is nothing missing. And that love comes with everything we want. with that love is all power. It's all peace. It's all prosperity. It's all self-expression. It's all health. It's all aliveness. It's all good. So we can cut right through all this nonsense very easily every single day by sitting down, relaxing our bodies and minds, closing our eyes, and just taking a moment, to feel that infinite love that Spirit has for us and has always had for us and always will have for us. And do you see how when we do that on a regular basis, we are less inclined to go looking for love where it doesn't exist? Because we already have it. So then when we go out into the world, we're going out into the world from the point of view of we are loved. We are pure love ourselves. We are expressions of pure love. And then we're only here to help. We're only here to shine. We're only here to bring more love into the world, rather than trying to find the love that we think doesn't exist for us. And so we are going to look for substitute after substitute after substitute for the love. And those substitutes, we know, will never do anything except for cause us pain. And that's why we a lot of times think, well, if I only had this, if I only had that, if I only did this, if only that, if only they did this, if only they didn't do that, if only. And when we if only ourselves into hell, basically, is what we do, then we are, for all intents and purposes, shutting off all access to the love that is ours right now. Right now, that love is completely capable of handling anything for us. But we shut it down completely because we think we know what's best. Because we are convinced, we have been convinced, and we convince ourselves and other people that our substitutes for that love are what's important. When in reality, our substitutes for that love are what hurt us the most. So I invite you to take a good 7 days and experiment with this and see if it's not true for you. That if you take maybe 3 times a day and just take part of your magic minute, whatever you use, whatever kind of meditation practice that you have, and if you don't have one, try one. Take 3 times a day and just take a moment, just where you just relax, calm down, and feel that presence of love that is already within you, that presence that loves you more than you could possibly imagine. And then look back over your life after that 7 days and see where those improvements have already just started coming in, and all the miracles that occur as a result of that practice. And then you'll probably want to keep that practice up as a regular thing. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us today. Can't wait to work with you again. And until next time, blessed be.